Okay, so what inspires you to create your designs?
Colours, shapes, lots of things. Reading, books, research that I do, people, everything. Lots of things. I mean, it's a huge thing. Inspiration is massive. So I kind of, when I start designing, I normally spend a lot of time before doing research and in a sketchbook sort of form or folder kind of form, and then I start designing. But there's lots of things that inspire me. Lots and lots of things.
Okay, so can you tell me more about your work within unethical trade?
Yeah. I haven't really done that much. I mean, right now I'm just sort of I've been talking about it mainly in the past few years, and in the studio I've started making some trousers that are based on sustainability. Apart from that, the past few years have just been about getting to know, the ins and outs of unethical trade in the fashion industry, because there's a lot of detail to it and how it's been, it's kind of grown and it's still growing, the use of unethical trade, and it's a serious issue, especially the high street. It consists of unethical trade, and so it's quite a complicated thing. I'm not just sitting here sort of I'm not just working on making ethical garments. I'm working on ways of combating the issue of ethical trade as well. So I mean, it's quite a far-in topic, and I'm sort of working quite slowly, so I can get where I need to be, what I need to achieve one day. So it's quite that's another huge project. I think quite an ongoing project.
What pushed you to want to be an activist within this particular area?
Right, I mean, nothing. I mean, I'm sorry, that's not the right answer. What I meant to say is that I didn't feel pushed ever to be an activist. I didn't probably even know what activist meant, in fact, a few years ago. Well, not a few years ago, but 12, 15 years ago when I first got into the fashion thing. I just kind of ended up being here because I've worked in the fashion industry for quite a lot of, between the age of 14 and 25, I was in the fashion industry doing something, either working in shops or working with designers or at fashion college, and that's what my sort of life was about in those days, and then I kind of really got to see how, I suppose at the beginning when I first got into it, I thought that's what I wanted to do, and I wasn't really in it to sort of become an activist. It was more because I found it appealing and it just felt naturally really interesting. I kind of ended up going into the activist direction because I suppose I found it really disappointing, and it's all the whole industry, and it's quite opposite to what it makes itself out to be. It's really conflicting, and I think being away and doing what I do now independently, and with all the sort of experience and skills that I gained in the fashion industry, it seems silly not to make use of them, but also to make use of them in a way that is not going to be repeating the same mistakes and the sort of boring repetition that's going on the high street, and with a lot of London designers as well. So that's why I ended up going in this direction, but there wasn't really any plan, to be honest, at the beginning.
What do you think